we had a birthday week for April. It was a week instead of a day. And we've always had birthday days, but never a week. And it was fun. We have a lot of really cool new friends and got to do a lot of neat stuff. And it's funny, every time we seem to be out and celebrating or going somewhere, we meet new prospects. We just, we're having a good time. We're with new friends. We're having fun. And people are just drawn to fun and excitement and entertainment. And it's really, if there's one message that I could just share with everybody, it's you got to make sure that when you're doing this business, you're having fun. And if doing the business is not fun, then find another way to do the business. Okay, because you're missing the most important thing that people are looking for, and that's, you know, doing something that's more fun than what they currently do at their regular job. Okay. And if they're going to take on something that's, something else that's exciting, I should say, if they're going to take on something else to do with the time that they have, they're going to want to have fun you're going to want it to be exciting. And, you know, it's the key to success in the business. You want to become a magnet where people want what you're drinking. They want what you have. They want what you're doing. And it's not just a money thing. It's a lifestyle thing. It's a fun thing, and just keep that in mind. If you're thinking about doing something to build your business and you are resisting it, you're looking for an excuse not to do it, you don't want to get on it right away, then you may want to consider changing how you're approaching the business. I can tell you, I mean, April and I, we've been in this industry now 32 years, 6.5 years with LifeVantage, and then the previous time with our other company. And when I wake up in the morning, and we're fairly early people, we get up between 6 and 6:30 every morning. We don't use an alarm. That's just when we wake up. I can't wait to get out of bed and get the day started. I can't wait to be looking at what happened in my business while I was sleeping. If you want to really get excited, I was talking to Kenneth. I just seen Kenneth on now. I was talking to him about this the other day. I said, isn't it cool when you go to bed and you check your volume, and then when you wake up, your volume has changed and you earn money while you were sleeping? Okay, it's just something about earning money while you're sleeping that's exciting, and it puts you in a really good mood for the day. It just gets you in a good framework for the day. And you know, fun is the key, folks. And a lot of people think it's money, but the money follows the fun. The fun don't follow the money. And a lot of people get it backwards. They think, well, when I make money, I'll go have fun. Then you're not going to make any money. Okay, you want to, the one thing, and you don't hear me talk much about the old company, but the one thing that the owner said over there that was very important early in our career was, if you don't have anyone to have fun with, you need to be the fun. You need to be it until it starts happening and resonating on its own. So I'm sharing that with you because that's the one thing that you can control on your own. And April and I, we had a very fun week, like I said, with the birthdays and stuff. And some of our new friends also had birthdays this week. So we were out a lot and meeting a lot of new people, having people ask us what we do and what we did before we did this and all kinds of questions. But what I want you thinking about is this. There's a lot that we can do to help you in this business, but there's one thing that we cannot do that you have to do for yourself. And it's called the art of inviting. And you've heard me talk about inviting before. And, April was scanning through and putting a training together tonight and came across a video that we're good friends with Tara Wilson, and most of you know that. We had the opportunity to spend a week with her a few years ago touring Europe and introducing the hair care system when it first came out. And we got very close with her. And we're like, with me and Tara are like brother and sister. We smack each other around like we're family. And she did a training on inviting. And it's short, it's only about 10 minutes. But man, April, was that spot on or what?
Yes,
I
it
mean,
absolutely,
we're
yeah.
going to play it for you tonight. Our training is going to be her training tonight. And then we're going to come back and discuss it a little bit further. But I want you to take some notes. And a lot of it you may have heard April say, you may have heard me say, but we had a couple things happen this week where it brought some things to light where if we had been brought into three-way calls, and we weren't, okay, but there's a couple scenarios where if we had been, the results might have been different than the way they turned out. And see, here's one thing that another thing that we can't help with. You can call and ask for advice. And a lot of you do, or text and ask for advice, and you do, okay? But here's what we don't know. We gave it to you, okay? We gave you advice. We suggested a way of doing it, and in a lot of cases gave you the words for it. But we have no way of knowing what you did after we hung up. We have no way of knowing what you texted them after we hung up. We have no way of knowing what you said to them on the phone. And, you know, some feedback comes back maybe from your prospect. And long story short, had April just been on a three-way call with you, or had I been on a three-way call with you, as we should be, okay, when you're new in the business, or when you have a chicken list person, you know, some people, we call it a chicken list. It's those people that you think are big fish, but you're afraid to call them. So they're your chicken list. And that's what your sponsor or your upline is there for. You know, they're there to answer the questions of your big fish. Okay. Well, why? Well, why would you want to get me on the phone? Well, maybe because we made over $16 million. Maybe that's a good reason. I don't know. Maybe that's not a good reason. Okay. But maybe because 32 years ago, my picture frame business had gone bankrupt and I had to find something else to do. And I chose network marketing. Or maybe you get April on and April raised 3 boys. Okay. While traveling the world, building an international business. Okay. I helped raise them, but she's the boss. Everybody knows that. So, you know, we raised our family traveling the world, building an international business. So, you know, we can say things about you that you would feel funny saying about yourself. See, I know Lynn had a great career in the legal field, and I know her husband's a lawyer, but I know Lynn was the boss. She ran the office. You all think the lawyers are the bosses. They're not. The person that runs the law office is the boss. Okay. And Lynn had a great career in the legal field. I could brag on her, but she can't brag on herself. You know, I can brag on Kenneth for owning Orange Theory Fitness Studios, for being a U.S. Olympic coach that won medals, you know, with the U.S. sailing team. I can brag on him about that, and he don't have to say it about himself. So three-way calls, and I'm going to clarify that because it used to be three-way calls. Now it could be a three-way call. It could be a three-way Zoom. It could be a three-way chat in Messenger or text. It doesn't necessarily need to be a call, but why wouldn't you use that person that's going to step up? I'll tell you, I have a Zoom with somebody that could be a big fish that I'm talking to tomorrow that's looking to switch companies. Okay. And it's a person that's over in Europe. Well, you say, well, you don't need to do a three-way call, Bobby. You know, you got experience. I have my person lined up for tomorrow if I need her Today was Sunday afternoon, and I spoke to the general manager over in Europe and said, hey, I have a Zoom tomorrow at 3 o'clock your time. Are you going to be available should I need you? Or should I want to bring you into the conversation depending on how things go? We still do it, folks. We don't stop just because we've been in the industry for a while. Okay, we'll bring in different people or at least have them ready to jump in if the situation, calls for it. So I'm sharing that with you because when you don't use your sponsor or your upline, and I'm not just talking about me and April, whoever's in your upline, when you choose not to use them, you are choosing to stack the deck against yourself. You're choosing to put the odds against you instead of putting them for you. I don't know if you guys are gamblers. I used to go to Atlantic City a lot when I lived up in New York, and I'm gifted with some mathematical skills. And I knew the odds at the crap table. I knew the odds at the blackjack table. I knew when to hold them or fold them or throw them or whatever it was I was doing at the time, and when not to. If you have a chance to stack the deck in your favor in this business and use a third party that doesn't cost you a dime, start doing it. Okay, start using those tools when you have them. But the one thing that your sponsor can't do for you, or your upline or crossline can't do for you, is invite. You need to invite. But here's the thing, and I'm going to let Tara say because she says it so well. When we say invite, you think we mean talk to them about building the business. And then they might ask questions about compensation or money or this or that. That has nothing to do with inviting. You're inviting them to participate, watch, or see a tool. You're not inviting them so you can explain the whole thing to them. Okay, that's when you get the third party on call, and that does not happen on a first call. A first call is to get them to look at something. So let me get Tara on here. Okay, it's a YouTube, but it is one of the best 10 minutes I have ever heard as far as training goes.
This is Tara Wilson, and I have now been in the network marketing profession for 10 years. And so I wanted to share a couple tips with you that might help you grow your business and have success. One of the most important skills that you could possibly learn in your career is the art of inviting. It doesn't matter how successful you've been in other careers, how much you know about your products, your services, your comp plan, how polished you are at presenting, how great you are at follow-up, how great you are at organization. Nothing in network marketing happens until an invitation is made. And a lot of people don't look at this as a skill. It's probably the most important skill you'll ever learn. And here's why. Until you invite someone to take a look at your product, your service, or your business, nothing happens. Now, a couple of things that you need to learn is, number one, the invitation process is not the selling forum, meaning if you're worried about picking up the phone when you start your network marketing business to call your best friend, then you probably think you might have to sell her. And that's not what the invitation process is about. So even when you're brand new, first day, second day, fifth day, second week, second month, you're actually just calling to say, hey, I started a business and I would love your support. Please show up at this time on a call. Maybe it's Thursday night, maybe come to my living room Thursday night, watch this video, watch this webinar. And all you're doing is simply saying, hey, if I send you a tool, will you watch it? If I invite you to my house, will you come? And you guys should be able to get through, 10, 15 invitations in a single sitting, right? All you're doing is inviting them to take a look. This is what's known as filling your funnel. So when people start on my team, the number one thing I say is, number one, make your list. And a good list is 1 to 200 names. And then the second thing to do is start inviting. Now, based on their geography, right? If you have a lot of people close in your network, in your local town, maybe a lot of friends, maybe a lot of family, then have a home party. If you have people all over because you've used social media as a main way to build your business or your network, then have a call, have a webinar, have a Zoom, maybe have a recording that you can send them to. Bottom line is, all you're doing is giving them an invitation to see the information. You're not the tool. You're not the information. You're just the messenger. And this is something that I think a lot of people, when they get into network marketing, they're so exciting. They went to the meeting and they heard all these facts and these figures and this great product or these great features about this amazing service. And all of a sudden they want to call their friends and throw up all over them. And their friend, who's your best friend, like literally last week, you guys were, jogging and happy hour, the movies, dinner, and all of a sudden you feel weird about calling your best friend. That's because you think you got to sell them. You're not to sell them. So I teach my team a rejection proof script. So this is something you guys might want to write down. So you got your list, 1 to 200 names. Now I teach them to say, hey, for example, I'm in the wellness industry. Hey, mom, hey, best friend, hey, neighbor, hey, coworker, whatever their name is. Hey, it's Tara. I just started a wellness business. And I am obviously looking to build that business through referrals. I'm looking for customers who want to enjoy my products. I'm looking for business partners. And most importantly, I'm looking for referrals. And we'll talk about that in a second. Hey, mom, hey, sister, hey, contact. Can you do this? Can you come to a meeting Thursday night, half an hour? We're going to give you some information so that you can be either, you can decide whether the product or service is for you, the business is for you, or if neither, maybe you can think of somebody that you might know who would benefit from your product or service. Or can you be on a call on Wednesday night at 10 or 7? Can you watch this video tonight, tomorrow? When can you watch the video? A lot of really great scripts is, hey, if I give you a video, will you watch it? Set a time for them to watch it, set a time to follow up, and follow up. The bottom line is the invitation is just to get people enough interested to say yes to looking at the information and let them off the hook. So I say, this is how it goes from the beginning. Hey, it's Tara. I just started a global wellness business. Hey, I'm looking for customers, obviously great products. I'm looking for business partners, great business model, great timing, but I'm also looking for referrals. Who do you know who might be interested? I'm having a meeting at my house at 7 o'clock. Can you make it? As my mom, I just want your support because when you see the information, it might spark some ideas of who might be a great referral for me. Now, speaking of referrals, I'll tell you that a lot of people in network marketing think they have to sell everyone on their list. Well, number one, this is not a selling business. This is a sorting business. You're looking for people who are looking. So out of every 100 people you call, you'll probably enroll 5 to 10 distributors, and you'll probably enroll somewhere between 20 and 30 customers. That's statistics. If you're a very good product, or if you have a high close, a lot of skill in closing, they might be higher. If you have products that are very unique, maybe no men or no women or no children or young people, they're very small demographic, you might have a lower closing ratio. That's up to you and your company. But bottom line is I have built my entire legacy on referrals. In fact, let me tell you that 10 years ago, while I was working full-time with 2 small children at the time, I have 3 now, you probably see their picture in the background there. I was working 40 hours a week and I got into the industry and I just started telling people, hey, I'm starting a health business. There's a lot of money to be made in it. Who do you know? That was my entire script, guys. Honestly, like people who want to say something fancy or something clever. I just walked around saying, I got an incredible health product. There's some money to be made. What, people say, what you got? And I'd say, come to this meeting or watch this video or get on this call. And people did. I was just constantly filling the funnel with people I barely knew. Now, here's the magic. In the first 4 months of my very first business, all of my family was already in the company and I was the last one to say yes. Literally, that's the truth. Some families said no, but all the ones that eventually said yes, I was the very last one. So my family, all gone, right? Meaning off the list. All of my friends, people who were in the room when my children were born, people who were, in my wedding, people who lived next door, people I went out with, birthdays and dinners and happy hour and movies, all said no. How did I go on to do $175 million in this industry in 12 different countries while raising 3 kids? Because in my first 4 months, 3 people were referred to me by people who said no. meaning they didn't join me, but they said, hey, I thought of someone, call them. I called them, I met with them. The rest is history. We put in 9,000 people in my first company in 2 years while raising 2 kids and working half full time. And my first time in the industry, because I kept asking people, who do you know who? So there's a great concept called the corridor principle. And there's a 12-year study of success. And the bottom line is that the results of the study said that there's a difference between people who are successful and unsuccessful. Think of your future business as a tunnel, and you're standing there looking through the tunnel. And most people make a decision whether to even join because they peek into that tunnel to the left and to the right, and they say, oh, well, there's mom, she might order from me. My best friend, they're healthy, you know, if it's a health product, or, you know, if you're selling jewelry, that person loves jewelry. And what you do is you start prejudging your immediate network. And you don't look very far into the tunnel, and you make a decision to either join or not join based on who can you sell of the people you know right now. Well, guys, I have had teams of over 400,000 people. Guess how many people I knew before I built those teams? Of that company, I would say less than 10. One was my brother-in-law, one was my stepbrother, one was my other stepbrother. And then I was sure there's a handful of friends. One is actually sitting in this living room right now, what I went to college with. He was one of those people. But the corridor principle says that even if you can't see down the corridor, that if you're willing to launch down that tunnel anyway, then doors and windows, people, opportunities, leads, referrals will be there, even though you can't see them, right? Because if I would have based my entire network marketing career on what I saw in the first 3 months, I wouldn't have made $3.5 million and created 6 other millionaires. This is the difference between someone that has success and someone that doesn't. I said, there are people in my company having success. I will figure it out and I will not stop until. And I launched down that corridor, and within the first 4 months was referred 3 people who helped me earn over almost $500,000 while raising 3 kids in my first network marketing experience. So bottom line is the invitation. Keep asking your network, who do you know who, right? There is no guarantees, but I promise you, if you see people in your company having success, if customers are buying your product, or if customers are buying your services, if distributors are having success, then you can too. You just have to be willing to launch into it and keep inviting people to take a look. I have built organizations, like I said, spanning 12 countries, $175 million in sales. And you know what? I've never cold called or walked up to a stranger in my entire career. In 10 years, I have never cold called because I continue asking people, who do you know? So even if you only know 100 people and they know 100 people and they know 100 people, that's 1 million people in just your first 3 levels of your network. If you keep asking, who do you know who, you will find the people in those levels, and you will find as many customers as you'll ever need and as many distributors. It only takes about 3 to 5 distributors to go to a multiple 6, or even 7-figure income. A lot of people think it takes thousands. It doesn't. It takes a few really good ones. There's no selling in the inviting process. Get good at just connecting people with the information, your company story, your product or service story, the income story. And if you master this one skill with simple conversations, you will have more leads and more people to work with than you can ever imagine. So get good at inviting, and good luck with your career.
Good information, don't you think? I was gonna say that's 10 minutes well spent. April, why don't you take it?
Yeah, you know, she says so much of what we've said, and she says it's so powerful. It's just amazing. But again, we just have to get out there. You know, the company for the month of March was all over the company, was just, it's on fire. We have momentum going now. And I just hate for anybody to get left out because they haven't figured out how to send an invite. They're still thinking it over, trying to figure out how to get comfortable with it. You know, there are several people on here, and you hear the names a lot. They do a really good job of just sending out that invite again and again. You know, quite often Bobby and I'll even have the conversation, and he'll think of a name, and I actually have to look through my text messages or Facebook message, because he'll say, did you reach out to so-and-so? And I'm like, I don't hear the no's because I never really get a no. I just invite you. If you're not interested, fine. But you know what we've done? We've protected our business. Occasionally we get calls from people that are like, are you still selling those pills? Well, that's the whole start of their interest in the business. They've seen a little bit of what we've put out there. They've followed us on social. We are protecting our business. So when somebody else asks them to look at a company, or somebody asks them about, vitamins, and you've heard us say this before, they'll ask us. We're marking our territory. But if you're not letting people know, or more importantly, you're prejudging them based on what you think, you will never get through your people to be able to get to the real people that are help you build your business. It's not, it's good practice to speak to your mom. It's good practice to speak to your best friend. But the likelihood of them doing this business is not there. It's just not there. If this was a super, super easy business, everybody would be doing it because there's so much money to be made in it. We just need to push through. And, I can tell you, I was working full time and I was definitely the quiet one in this couple, and Bobby got involved, and I'm like, I had my career and everything I was doing, and I'll support you. But I realized I needed to figure out a way to get comfortable with the invite. It's a skill that you work on and you just get so comfortable. It's like you just leave little dust here and there. That's our opportunity, our invite, and people that decide they want it, those that don't. And after a while, you never really hear a no. You remember the yeses, but you never hear the no's. And even with the yeses, some will do it bigger, some will do it even bigger. And it's all okay. But it's just our opportunity, or it's what we need to do is to share what we're doing. We need to let people know we're in business. I bet there's people on this call right now that there are people in your life that have no idea what you do for a living. No idea. Even my group, a lot of times it gets kind of mixed up because they think I'm in the vitamin business, and I have to try to get away from that. But at least they're asking me for products and different things. This last week, I had a girl come back on, we were playing some USTA tennis on Friday, came back from a knee injury, and she's just saying the collagen is just miraculous, cured her knee and everything, she's been going for all this stuff. And it's like all the other girls were like, they didn't really care about how their face looked, how their skin hung. But when it comes to joints and joint pain, they were all over that. So, but we just have to really just put our opportunity out there and let people know what we have and not prejudge it. And like she said, who do you know? That's kind of Bobby's, mine's always been a takeaway, but Bobby's always kind of that third party, like, it's not good enough for you personally, but I want to know if any of your friends or family are good enough for it. And, more times than not, the person will say, no, me, I'm good, I'm good enough. I'm worthy of the opportunity. But that's the posture you have to have in this opportunity. And once you feel really comfortable with it, and once you know what you have and you've had even just a little bit success, you have that posture. And it makes it very easy for you to call people on what they're, if they're saying they don't have enough money, or they don't have enough time, or they don't know anybody, you can call them on that quite easily because you know that that's absolutely not true. And when they have any of those objections, that's 10 times more why they need it. That's 100 times more why they need this opportunity. If they think they don't have any friends or money or time, I mean, that's just not a legit objection. So that's why if you just sent an invite out, get somebody else on the phone that could answer those. Somebody that's just a little savvy with scripts and stuff. Even if it's texting, you're not sure, just reach out and ask someone, how does this sound? And they'll tell you, somebody else in the business, and they'll be able to help you with that. But, again, she was so smart with that, so to the point. That video was actually 7 years old, but again, I was on a company call and I just heard, it's not just our team, it's all the teams that are on fire, everybody in LifeVantage. And the thing that you have going for you today now is nobody knows about LifeVantage. You can be the first person to introduce them to LifeVantage. And you've heard us talk about the numbers. You introduce them to LifeVantage, maybe they don't do anything, but somebody else tells them about it and they think, oh my goodness, she told me about LifeVantage 2 years ago. Maybe I better get back to her. So you can really go ahead, it's going to start to get softened because company's on fire. Our products are unbelievable. Even if they're just customers, we're going to have people out there all over the place. And a lot of times now when I talk to people, they're like, I think I heard of that. And I don't know if that's something I'm saying or whatever, but they're just even more engaged with it, more excited about it. So don't prejudge anyone. You just ask them, take a look. You know, if you feel better, say, you don't have to buy anything. Just do me a favor, take a look. You know, if it's not for you, maybe it's for somebody else, you know, figure out your script. And start inviting people. And that was great. So that's just on YouTube. You know, YouTube is really a wealth of information. If you know, you want information on the products, you want information on some of the other groups, anything, there's so much information about our business on YouTube. You know, maybe pick a little YouTube 10 minutes on the way to work and back or something just to keep, if you're not a book reader, you got to keep your mind in the business. And again, that's a 7-year-old video that she did, but so powerful. So many things that, you know, Bobby and I agree and have happened in our business. When we look at the people that are in our business, they are not the people we knew when we started our business. I can promise you that. We've got some that hung around and make a lot of money because they just happened to be there. They signed up. But, you know, for the most part, our builders, our people that are really building are not people we knew, you know, prior to this business. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. I loved it when I heard it. So.
And I have the link if anyone wants it, but you can just, Tara's got her own YouTube channel. You can just look her up. A couple things I want to acknowledge. I saw Dr. Grija on here. I just want to say congratulations for making the Growth Summit. I think she goes, is it next week, April? I think it's next week. And that's the old Pro 5 Summit. It's now called the Growth Summit. Okay, so it's out in Park City. So she made that. In regards to what April was just saying about knowing people, you know, we met Catalina through Jaya. And you say, well, you knew Jaya. No, we didn't. Jaya answered a fax. Okay, we faxed doctors in Chicago because we wanted to do a meeting out there and we didn't know anybody. So this is back when faxing was popular. And so we didn't know Jaya. She answered a fax. We met Catalina because, okay, that she knew Jaya. Okay. We met Dr. Goodman because he knew Jaya, and I think he knew Dr. Pla, who was someone else that we knew also. But Kenneth's a funny one. Say, would you and Kenneth go back, what, 10, 12, 14 years? I don't know. It's something like that, but I didn't know him. He answered an ad we were running on the radio and he hung up because nobody answered the phone. He hung up, but we had one of our distributors call him back, and you know, the rest is history there. So the people that you're going to build your business with probably aren't your friends and relatives, but you got to network through people to get to the people, okay, that want to build, you know, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollar businesses. You know, you've heard me talk about Lehman. I'm not sure if he's on here or not tonight, but his check is doubling every month, you know, with the company. And he just got started in January, but it's doubling and doubling. And he will be in the next Growth Summit. I think he's got another month or two to qualify. He's already qualified. He's just got to go through the next month or two and get 3 or 4 of them under his belt. I'm not even sure exactly what it is. And then he's going to Growth Summit. But let me share something with you with social media. If you're not posting every day, you're missing the boat because it's free. But some of you may have saw this, some of you may not have. But I did a before and after of myself a year later. Okay. And I posted it, and someone that knew me, I did not know him. It goes back 20, 25 years ago when I was in the other company, and that wasn't our line. Okay. So it was just someone that knew who me and April were because we were high profile in that company. So they knew who we were. But the bottom line is he saw that and he responded to a before and after product picture, and he messaged me and we started going back and forth, and he's got a team. And what he liked is he's a pastor and he's got a team of pastors, and they're looking to switch companies. And based on what he saw, now I didn't know this, but before he messaged me, he started tracking our social media footprint, and he found our YouTube channel, and he was watching a number of our videos. And then he reached out, and like I said, I have a Zoom with him tomorrow over it. And I want to share another story with you, and then we'll open it up. You know, I was joking about April had a birthday week instead of a birthday day. And one of the things, and I noticed, and April didn't even notice this when I did it, but we went to the beach for her birthday, and I brought her favorite champagne and strawberries, her birthday cake, her presents, everything. Okay, I had it all set up, and we were just spending the day at the beach. And while she was opening, and we go early, we like the sun to come up, watch the sun come up, so we go early. So while she was opening her birthday presents, I was videotaping it. And there was only one other girl on the beach at the time, about the equivalent of maybe 4 or 5 car spaces over, because we drive the Jeep on the beach. So maybe, I don't know, 60, 80 feet away, something like that. And she was watching me video April opening her presents. And I noticed, and she just had this big grin, like this really happy face on. And I glanced at her, and she just smiled back. And April had gone, I think, to put the wrapping paper in the garbage or whatever. I'm not sure, but she had walked away for a second. And the lady said, you know, I really wanted to videotape you videotaping your wife opening her presents. And she kind of gave the signal that I could approach her, like walk up to her. So I went over and started talking, and she was down for spring break. And long story short, you know, we have another person in the funnel, but here's the message. When you are out and about in public, are you aware of your surroundings? You know, are you aware of who's around you? Have you scoped out things? And I don't mean it like a predator. I don't mean it to be nosy, but just an awareness of your surroundings. Are you aware of your surroundings? Like, I knew she was there. Now, I didn't know she was watching me videotape April opening her gifts. I didn't know that. But when I glanced at her and she smiled, it was like a smile of approval, you know, and she left the window open, and we ended up talking, and she's in, I don't know what you call, like an energy doctor, and her husband just sold a family business, trying to figure out what they're going to do next. They live in Ohio. They're considering moving to Florida. We went into all kinds of stuff, but are you aware of your surroundings is what I'm asking you. And if not, start working on it. You know, when you go into a restaurant or a bar to have dinner or a drink or whatever it is, even if you're going into church to sit down, okay, are you aware of your surroundings? Because this business happens 24/7, whether you and I are aware of it or not. Either our eyes are on somebody, or somebody's eyes are on us. It's going on 24/7, and you could really help yourself if you are aware of what's going on. And April will tell you, I never miss an opportunity to talk to someone. And a lot of times it's a woman, because this business is so good with women, but I immediately get them with April. As soon as I was done talking with this lady and April came back, I said, you should go talk to her. We had a great conversation, and I think you could take it further from here. And that's what she did. Okay, April went over and continued. I went back to my lounge chair and just started listening to my 70s music again. Okay, so, but if you're one of these people that just, you know, I think that's an acquired skill too. I don't think that it comes natural to everybody, but it's very, very helpful if you're aware of your surroundings. And like I said, I don't mean it to be a salesperson. I don't mean it to be predatorial. I don't mean it that way. I just mean, do you know what the heck is going on around you when you're somewhere? And if you do, then you'll notice when someone's body language changes. You'll notice when someone smiles. You'll notice when someone laughs. And I couldn't miss it with this lady. She enjoyed me videotaping April so much that it just made her day. You know, and then she was married a long time. She had two boys and a girl. She had 3 kids. They were all empty nest also. We had a lot of things in common to talk about. But what if I didn't notice she was 4 stalls over and she didn't have a car because she was staying in the hotel on the beach. So she was just sitting on the beach in the section where they park the cars, which you're not supposed to do. Okay. You're supposed to, if you're going to lay out a towel, it's a different part of the beach. It's the other side of where you drive. Okay. If you're driving down the beach, if you haven't experienced it in Florida, the part closest to where, say, the hotels or restaurants would be is where the cars park. And then there's a lane where you drive, and then the next section closest to the water is where you lay out a blanket. Okay. And the drive-through is in between. Okay. So, but anyway, just, you know, keep that in mind. And now it's not just 3-way calls anymore. It's 3-way chats, 3-way Zooms. I got to give Kenneth and Catalina credit. Here's another thing you may want to start practicing if you don't do it. Every time they sign up a consultant, they create a chat with themselves, the new consultant, and me and April, and they introduce us to each other. Now, believe me, Catalina is very talented and Kenneth is very talented, and they do not need me or April for anything. But what they are doing is showing their new consultants that this is bigger than us, and we have help, we have support, we have other people that can help if it's needed. And it makes the picture bigger. The picture gets bigger, and we get to introduce ourselves. And then eventually, and if you want earlier, Tommy was talking, and Tommy's one of our newer members, a partner with Liam under Kenneth. And he was talking. Well, part of the reason that Tommy was comfortable talking is he's on a text thread. Okay. He was in Nashville. Okay. And he needed some posters. He owns a salon, and I sent him some collagen posters to hang up, and he was comfortable to just start talking. Okay. Are your new consultants comfortable with speaking to their upline? Or do they know who they are? See, that's another thing that would be very helpful in the business. And like I said, you know, there's a good chance the person doesn't need the people that they're being introduced to, but doesn't it make it look like it's bigger when you do that? You know, I don't think I'm going to need the general manager of Europe to hop on a Zoom with me tomorrow, but she's ready if I do. If something goes in that direction, I'm just going to text her and she's going to dial in. She's on call. That's what it is. She's on call. Okay. So anyway, that's a message for tonight. I want to open it up in case you folks have anything you want to add. And remember, our opportunity launch is the 22nd. So I posted it everywhere, but it's the 22nd. So it's 2 weeks from tomorrow. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, let's open it up. Anyone's got any comments or anything you want to share, any questions you want to ask, please feel free. Kenneth, I saw you with a finger up. Is that like waving?
Yeah, I would love to just make a couple of points. Now, I think it's, you know, I was thinking when you were talking about, you know, opening up and being open and looking for opportunities. Now, it's not our job to choose who this is for, right? It's our job to present this to everybody. And then it's up to them to decide if it's for them, right? It's not our job. And I think many times, you know, I caught myself early on saying, oh, this person doesn't need it. Or this person is too rich, and this person is too poor, and this person is too thin and this person, whatever, right? No, that is so far off base, right? It's not my job to choose who this is for. It's my job to present this to everybody, and then they can pick. And then, I started doing something. Sometimes everything just happens, and sometimes it's like, oh my God, something needs to happen soon, right? So I started counting my no's. I said, okay, my goal for today is to get 10 no's. But you know what happened? I got 10 no's because I didn't stop till I had 10 no's. But while I had those 10 no's, I had 3 yeses. Right? If I had just said after the first no or the second no, oh, this stinks, I can't do it, then I would have quit and I wouldn't have gotten a few more calls in and gotten 3 yeses, right? So sometimes, try to change your mind up a little bit. Try and say, I'm going to go out and get 10 no's today instead of just counting the yeses, because if we only count yeses, it can be depressing at times, right? And my last very short point is I want to welcome Greg. Greg just joined our business yesterday and he's already on the call. So I wanted to welcome
Welcome,
him.
Greg. Greg was on before you were tonight.
Yeah.
I know, I just came back from my wife's birthday dinner here, so it was a little late, sorry, but it's all good. So thank you.
Thanks, Kenneth. Any other comments or anything else anybody like to share?
I want to say something.
Oh, go ahead,
Sorry.
Catalina. Go ahead, Catalina. And then I'll get Fred.
Sorry. Oh, Simba just, grabbed me. So that's why I was not on mute. What I wanted to say is that 2 things, the question and a statement. Like an idea, I asked my IT, because I'm not too good with all of this packaging things to put together the package that I like to give to my new consultants with, pictures and with the sheet from you guys and with the studies, several studies, because some, may want to know more. Other pieces of information, Dr. Zanz. Anyway, like a package so that everybody has this package and they give it to their new consultants and so forth. So this way we have to make it easy for them to not get stuck. It's like, okay, what am I doing now? And then, have a system and it's routine. It's the same thing over and over and over again so that it's reproducible so we can duplicate. So that's, one of, that's what I thought of. And then the second, I had a question because usually I know April is a master at, putting together these reels and pictures and collages and like, oh my God. In some companies they say don't put the company name out there because then people will go to the company site and just pick whoever is there or just sign up on their own or buy from whoever. What are your thoughts on that? So the products, the before and after pictures, all of those, but with the name of the company or not? I know you guys do with the name of the company, but you're well known, so I don't know.
There's not one answer to that. It's done both ways and it's done successfully both ways. And you just choose what you want to do. There's half of the big earners in LifeVantage have LifeVantage on everything they do. And the other half of them just do before and after pictures and make you ask what the product is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that important anymore that they just go to LifeVantage because LifeVantage doesn't sell to anybody. And it gives, if somebody wants to buy it, asks them how they got there or who the enroller is or who sent them there. And, so it's not as big a problem as it was 5 or 6 years ago. So it's just a matter of preference. I don't care if they know it's LifeVantage or not. I don't care. Sometimes it's on there, sometimes it's not. And with me, I'm not even thinking about it because something comes to mind and I just do it and I don't lose sleep over it. So if the name happens to be in it, it's in it. If it's not, it's not. And, If you use a template that the company made, LifeVantage or Collagen or True Science is on it. I mean, it's, you know, if you
Right.
use a template, it's there. But I could care less on it. It doesn't, to me, for a person to not buy from me, if they learned it from me, number one, I didn't want them anyway. If they're just gonna just dump me like that, I could care less. I could go somewhere else. Okay, but if that's gonna happen, somebody must have given them a reason to not buy from them. Because why would you just order from a stranger if somebody else introduced it to you? Unless you annoyed them or pissed them off or something. Why would you do that, Now that happens. I'm not saying that don't happen. That does happen. But April, you got anything you want to share with that?
Yeah, it's so easy for us to copy and paste what others are doing that do have the products on it. But I do go to the school where I try not to make it overly obvious, but sometimes you just got to put it out there. But I try to diminish it as much as possible, not to have the product right out there. But as long as you have easy access and they can get to you, message you, whatever, it hasn't been a problem for me at all. So.
And if you wanna, I call it waste time paying attention to it, because I really don't think you need to pay any attention to it. But if you do want to pay attention to it, go one way with your stories and go another way with your wall. If you're gonna use the name LifeVantage and the product, and do it in stories, because it's gone in 24 hours. It's gone. It disappears, and then your wall, maybe you stick with your lifestyle and some other things. So that's a way of doing both. Just use your stories to do one thing and use your wall to do something else. But again, I've gone with it both ways. So, but good points, Catalina. Fred, what do you got?
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely great points. Great training tonight. I think one of the most underused things in our modern industry, right, is the three-way call. I call it a connecting call, right? Because the prospect doesn't want to hear the word three-way, because the purpose of a three-way call in everybody's mind is to close. Oh, I know why you want me to get you on that hotshot guy with Bobby or April. Yeah, you're bringing in, the guy from New York. So
it's funny, when we were buying a couple months ago, Fred, we were buying a new car. And as soon as he mentioned he was bringing in the other guy, the closer in the car,
yeah.
I'm like, I'm only buying if I can skip him. Okay. I'm buying already. I don't need to talk to anybody else. I want all the bells and whistles, and just give me something to sign. I don't want to talk to him.
That's right. And that's, and that's in our, it's in our brain, in our kind. So it's a connecting call. And one of my mentors years ago, and he just said, put me on the phone with 10 people and I'll tell the story. Right. And then you'll learn the story by hearing me tell it 10 times. And, that was so true. Right. And he didn't close in the traditional type of closing. But when they were ready to order, here's what he would do. And he didn't send a shopping cart. He just said, oh, well, what's your address? Right. He'd say, where would you like that shipped to? He didn't say, what was your address? It was also, where would you like it shipped to? And if they were joining as a distributor, they would wait. The last question was for their social. And now we would do a Zoom or something, but it was just so low key. And I learned a lot by just, when it was time to take the order, it was time to take the order. Don't talk about the dog or the weather or whatever. It's payday. And where would you like it shipped?
You could talk yourself out of a deal if you don't know when to shut up.
Yeah, that's right. What's your email address? And he just, and then he'd say, how would you like to pay for it? He never said, so I've adopted that. I never say, what's your credit card? Well, how would you like to pay for it? And lastly, if it was needing their social insurance number, that would be the last thing. And then we would just do it. But the connecting call is so important. And I think it's so underutilized, because I think I want to do it myself. And it's a big mistake. So went on a little bit extra, but that's so true.
All
Thank you.
righty. We good? Because we're almost an hour. I'm sorry. These calls are only supposed to be a half hour, but everybody's still here. You know, nobody leaves. So I feel bad when it goes 55 minutes, but I don't mind. We try and be respectful of your time. So, but anyway, keep all those things in mind. And like I said, now it's three-way chats. It's three-way calls, it's three-way Zooms. There's a lot of different ways to bring that third party in. And Fred, you hit the nail on the head. A big part of that is, yes, we're helping with your person, but you're also giving us an opportunity to train you with like on-the-job training too. And those things are happening simultaneously because you may give us a chance to address an objection. And you could learn a very valuable lesson by hearing how to handle a certain, what about this or what about that, you know, when it comes up, and you give us a chance to address it. So, but anyway, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. It's been a great month of April so far. All the numbers in April are running ahead of the same days for March, and March was a record month. So let's just keep that momentum going. If your team is not in full momentum, you already know the secret. Everybody needs to be inviting more. That's the key. Just invite more. We have not had our executive call with the company. For some reason, it's not to the middle of the month this month. So we are unaware of any specials, promotions, deals, or anything other than $200 and the Rise AM product. But we haven't heard nothing else. They're not even doing the call until the 15th. So we won't know anything before that. But have a good night, everybody. We appreciate your time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks so much. It was great.
Bye.
Okay, thanks.